Hello everybody, welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And before you start, just to let you know, I also post on Rumble and I'm on Patreon and on all this social media here. But yeah, that's it. Let's get started. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I mentioned the A50 620, sorry, regarding the CPU support. And I think I told wrongfully that it might support the 7800 X3D, because at the time I don't know why I thought it was around 65 watts TDP, but no, it isn't. So basically, at the moment, it doesn't support yet. From what I know, it doesn't support yet the X3D versions. It only basically supports on the go the non-X versions, so the 7600, 7700. 7900 and 7950, I think, the non-X versions, so the base ones, which by all intents and purposes is more than enough for a very budget build. But yeah, it's basically the correction that I wanted to make, just in case you thought you can had the idea that you can buy the 7800 X3D when it comes out to line up with this motherboard. At the moment, it doesn't support. I think it mainly has to do with the power delivery of the boards itself, because they are less powerful. It's like 6+2+1 power delivery scheme in most of them. I don't know if like in the A620, the more beefy versions of the motherboards, they will handle this kind of more higher demanding TDP CPUs. But we will see. At the moment, it doesn't support, but hopefully it will support in the near future with the BIOS update or something like that. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about the RTX 4070 and the pricing and a lot of theories and everything. My main take is, as usual, I'm more focused on consumer point of view. Even if I was doing a reviews or something like that, or if I have, because my main takeaway is always what the consumer is going to get for the prices that they are paying. And again, there was like some rumors earlier that it's going to be like 750, and I think that is going to reach that levels of pricing on the AIB high-end SKUs of this 4070 GPU. I think it's a big possibility, mainly because how the price segmenting is being done in all the GPUs. You have like the $150-$100 between each model, and then the AIBs put their variants and they scale in price depending on the variant. So it basically, you have like a price segmentation of $10 between. So you have, I don't know how many GPUs until you reach the next series of GPUs. It's usually, this is made so that because the companies do this because the possibilities of people having an X amount of money to spend on the GPU, it's more likely for them to buy anywhere between those $10 segments. Usually that's $10 to $50 segments where the pricing is done, depending on the GPU itself. It's kind of okay, it's kind of a free market stuff. It is how it is for, I don't know how many years this has been like this, since I remember, since always. But the fact that 4790i, it's being, at least this is not official pricing. Usually Mr. Anson, the CEO of NVIDIA, I always forget his freaking name. This kind of CEOs with a big ego, it's always a trouble. Usually we only know like in a day before, or when he does like some kind of announcement, we only know the final price. Even the AIBs and the partners, they only know the final price when in terms of MSRP, when he announces officially. Till then, it's basically speculation. But from all the leaks and rumors, they seem to have kind of pinpoint down in $600, not $599. It's always this bullshitting $1 difference from the next level of pricing, which is, it's not $599, not paying $500, you're paying basically $600. So, which is a crime against gamers, in my opinion, regarding this GPU. And of course, although this generation of GPUs, everything it's a crime against any consumer regarding the GPU market, which is I will insist in this, especially in particular with NVIDIA. They announced like huge boosts and huge performances and whatever, but again, NVIDIA, since the 40 series been announcing huge boosts on performances and everything, they always been taking into account the DLSS free technology with frame generation. And this is misleading. It's basically deceiving the consumer, thinking they are going to, okay, I'm going to pay a little bit more, but I have a lot of huge boost on performance. It's a lie. In terms of rasterization, you get kind of it's been like the trend is being, if you pay 10% more, you get 10% more performance than the previous generation in terms of rasterization, which is the normal way of measuring the performance of my GPU. But the problem is, in terms of hardware, again, and taking into account this example of 4070 and 3070, you are paying $100 more. And if you go through the specs, okay, you can get more. You have the same basically CUDA cores, but of course the manufacturing process is different. So the base clock can be is more, and also the boost clock. Supposedly the max FPU compute stuff, it's higher, but this is theoretically like raw performance. That doesn't always translate in gaming performance in the case of gaming. The fact that you have more of 4 gigabytes of RAM, it's okay. For a 70 class card, it's okay-ish. I don't think it's going to age very well again, like the same thing as the 3070 Ti. Supposedly it's a GPU aimed for 1440p gaming. And still we are seeing, like, for example, Hogwarts Legacy, the Resident Evil, and even the Last of Us games. 1080p, okay, not ultra but high. It starts to get struggling on playing at these kind of levels, which is, again, people are not paying attention. It has to do with memory bus and the memory itself, the quantity of memory itself, because how it processes the information. Usually it's about the details, and the textures, how they've been processed. It needs a lot. It's like the water pipe. You need a big, and in terms of diameter, think of memory bus as the diameter of the pipe of water. It needs a big diameter for the information to flow. Even if the information flows slowly, it passes a lot of information if you have a huge memory bus. And this will reflect especially on big data that needs to be displayed on the monitor. In this case, textures like foliage, this kind of little details that are presented in the screen. That's why memory bus is very important. And of course, memory, the quantity of memory it's needed to store and be processed afterwards. That's why you see a lot of struggling on GPU. With lower memory bus and lower memory capacity. If you take the comparisons that there is a lot of on YouTube, comparisons made between the 3070 and even the 6700 XT from AMD, which is like almost, I think, double the memory, and of course have more memory bus and more capacity. It shows the difference of what they call the fine wine processing of aging of the GPUs. And at the time, people said if the 3070 or the 3070 Ti had like at least 12 gigabytes, it would age very well because they have a large memory bus, or larger than the new 4070, even though the process manufacturer allows to be a little bit more faster. how it processes things, but it's like the water pipe thing. You can have the amount of a diameter of a pipe can only pass as much information to a certain point. Even if it goes faster than the water, it can only bring or carry X amount of water per second per se. It's like the information here regarding memory bus. The more memory bus, the more larger or more enlarged is the pipe per se to transmit information. And of course, you can, to a certain point, pass more information per second if you have a bigger pipe than if you have a smaller pipe. Basically, it's kind of the more simpler correlation that I can make regarding how gaming deals and how games are dealt in terms of the GPU processing power performance and all that stuff. Because you can have good memory bandwidth, you can have like max compute teraflops per second. You can have more TDP, more CUDA cores, more. If you are, it's like a system. The bottleneck here is the memory bus. You might not notice in 1080p, like medium settings and everything, it runs smoothly. But if you're trying to push a little bit more, even you have the technical capacities regarding the other aspects, if you're trying to get it with more detail in the games, the memory bus is going to stranglehold your GPU, and then it will usually leads to memory leak issues, which is basically the instead of being used the VRAM of the GPU, then that information that needs to be processed in the GPU memory is going to leak to the RAM, and then we start getting usually it's the CPU cannot sync the information properly to send between the DRAM to then it has to be on hold to get to the GPU, but because you have like a slow memory bus or a smaller memory bus, then the information cannot pass through, and then the blocks itself that need to be presented on the screen cannot be displayed. So usually in a lot of situations, that's why you have like the game just crashes usually. But yeah, $600 again, it's not good. It should be at least by the specs at the same price of the launch of a 3070, which was at $500, still very expensive for what it is. I was thinking around for being more competitive, 450 maybe. I think should be a more enticing price for this kind of GPU, because the 4070 Ti, it's not worth $800, it's worth maximum $650, $600 give or take, because of the difference of again the specs. The 12 gigabytes is not going to, it doesn't play well with all in 4K. It might play kind of okay if you have like low to medium. If you start pushing a little bit more, it cannot handle the things, even though in terms of the other things, the bottleneck again, it's the memory bus, 192 bits, and even it's more strangled to a certain extent. You can basically put more pressure on the pipe to get more information to be processed more faster, but it will reach a point of bottlenecking, and then you have more intensive issues with memory leaks in gaming or whatever application that needs good amounts of memory bus and good amounts of memory of VRAM from the GPU. But yeah, I think the price, it should be around 450, maximum 500. You're going to see some models for sure reaching the 750. I think it was like a marketing ploy to get people all over the place with a 750 pricing, and then they say, okay, now we're going to put it on 600 or 599. And people, oh, okay, so it's not that expensive as we thought we were going to. No, it's expensive like shit. Still, don't get fooled. I just hope that AMD with their middle range and lower range will get decent. I think we have, because of how our RDNA-free processor works, I think we will get better value on the mid-range and mainstream, like low-end GPUs. I think AMD is going to be served well. It's just again a matter of pricing. We will see how it goes. I don't want to put a lot of faith on AMD because they are a follower, so they are waiting for the NVIDIA GPUs come out with all the pricing, see kind of the reaction, and then just undercut a little bit, just enough for them to make the money they can make, and give the impression they are being competitive with the AMD, with NVIDIA, which they are kind of not, in terms of pricing. But we will see how it goes. It will not go well because it's going to perform way less than the 4070 Ti, because the memory bus and the memory itself, it's already a bottleneck on the GPU, and then you start removing CUDA cores, a lot of CUDA cores. It's a huge difference. Plus the base clocks and the boost clocks and the compute thing here, it's almost half. It's less, 50% less, give or take. So I'm not seeing a lot of good stuff. This is like just a 1080p, basically 1080p high detail settings on gaming. I don't see a lot of 1440p gaming GPUs here. I think the better one is the 4070, between what we have already and what will come to throughout this 40 series stuff. I don't see a lot of 1440p high-end. I don't see it. Don't count on being the 4070. It's preferable to buy a 79 XT if they lowered a little bit more. It's kind of a little below the MSRP in a lot of places. If the 7900 XT goes $100 more cheaper, I think it's almost like the perfect gaming GPU at the moment, to a certain point, regarding like good 4K gameplay and excellent 1440p, but we will see. And of course, with this continuing with the 4070 stuff, as we'll be seeing, there is a lot of from MSI, Gainward, Palette, PNI, and Gigabyte. We will see how it goes. This is like the kind of confirmation of the information. The leaked information still maintains 599. But they are all speculating, and of course we are going to see these models. They are going to reach at least 750. Believe me, for sure they will reach 750, and then they are not going to sell. But yeah, this is my main takeaway from this freaking GPU market stuff. It's so annoying. Let's see. Again, now AMD 7800 X3D supposedly in average is 7% faster than the 3900K. Okay, according to new data, this is, I think, from like leaked data from review samples for like the review guides for people that are doing the review on the CPU. Usually they use this kind of guides. They send this kind of guides, so they tell what they are own internal results. So people, if they have like huge differences, to troubleshoot and see, okay, if I'm not reaching kind of in the margin of where these results they are sending me, something might be wrong. As you can see here on the thing, that's why I told you in the beginning of the 65 watt. Yeah, the X3D versions are 120 and not 170. I don't know why I thought it was like around 75. I don't know why. But yeah. This is going to be the game, at least at this generation of CPUs. This is going to be the 7800 X3D is going to be the one for gamers, mainly because of the price comparing to the competition. The 13900K, I think it's $200 more. I think the 13900K, it's around the $600 price range, if not mistaken, the last time I remember this. And for less, $150, you get the same or better performance in gaming. I think it's the best deal at the moment from all the information that I'm getting regarding gaming, and even like light oh my god, light other workloads, like I forget, production workloads, sorry, I was forgetting this word. But yeah, basically this is it. We'll see how it goes in terms of reviews. I don't want to speculate much more. Should be around 5 to 7% higher, which is good for the price for all the intents and purposes. I got here some Fextralife thing here from this week in RPGs, some stuff that might missed or slip through my radar. Basically Atlas Funnel, I think, You got they usually do a good week roundtable on Fextralife. I will leave the link in the description below. And I'm going to wrap up with some game deals. Again, I know it's kind of repeated here. Wasteland 3 Colorado Edition, 71% off. Excellent game from what I saw. A good continuation from Wasteland 2, the director's cut. I basically stopped doing the Wasteland 2 gameplay because I went out without the computer after I moved out of my country. Yeah. Got 80% off on Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It's the digital deluxe edition, 85% off. I think it's, from what I played at the time, it's a very good game, the excellent continuation from Human Revolution. Also we have Metro, the franchise bundle, which is like the with all the DLCs and everything from other games, and it is the Redux versions of the first two ones, so 77% off. Oh my god, my numbering scheme today in my head is not that good. And 50% off on Hollow Knight. It's like a Metroidvania. It seems it is very good. I didn't play it yet, but it is very good. 50% off. We should have an announcement of the Silk Song. I think it's the sequel, the Hollow Knight Silk Song or something like that. Soon. I think it's from Sony or PlayStation showcase thing. I think they are going to announce. Probably it's from one of the rumors that I heard. But yeah, I don't want. It's been a lot of rambling on the 4070, so I'm going to wrap up here with my GoGetFundMe for me to upgrade my PC to get better and more content for my private clients, and of course in my free spare time, doing the gaming news dailies with better quality. I want to also start doing some scripted content to get in more deep with some certain subjects that I like to talk about, and of course doing my resuming my gameplay series, and also possibly do some live streamings and all that good stuff also. And well, as I said, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, Kunamy Master out.